in section 4B, which is right here, we're going to write equations in vertex form, going from standard form to vertex form. Because a lot of times it's easier to, or more useful to have it in vertex form. And so there's some little tricks here that we have to do. So kind of watch what I do on number 15 right here. So here's what the process is. What you want to do is you want to group your x squared and x together. And I want to take out whatever a is. So in this case, a was 2. Now I know out of those two terms you could take out 2x, but you don't want to do that. You still want an x squared there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the number in front of x squared out. So that's 2. And then I'm left with x squared. If I take 2 out of negative 32, I'm left with negative 16x. Now I'm going to leave a space inside here, and then this plus 136 goes out here. Here's what you want to do. If you remember back to completing the square that we did in section 2, I want to be able to write this as a binomial squared. So I want to make this trinomial right here. I want to add something inside here that I can write it as a binomial squared. So I'm going to take half of negative 16, which is negative 8, and I'm going to square negative 8. Well, that's 64. So I want to make this a perfect square trinomial, I want to add 64 there. Because now I can write this as x minus 8 squared. Very similar to what we did with completing the square in section 2. So here's what I have. I have this 2 out. Now, normally, what you do to one side, you got to do to the other. Now, this is a little bit different. And watch what I do here, and this is tricky. You've really changed this side of the equation by what you get when you distribute that 2 to that 64. So if I did 2 times 64, if I went through and actually distributed that back through and got rid of parentheses, 2 times 64 is 128. So I've actually changed the right side of my equation by 128, okay, which I've really added 128 on that side. So normally I'd want to subtract I'd want to add 128 on the left side, the other side. But we want just the y over here. So, if you wanted to add 128, but then I want to get rid of it, so I'd have to subtract it from this side, which really means we're going to subtract 128 over here. So I kind of added 128 with that. Well, now on the same side, I'm going to subtract or undo it, okay, to not change the value, okay, because we don't want to add the 128 to the other side. And now I end up combining these right over here, which ends up being 136 combined with that is 8. This is now in vertex form. Okay, now if I wanted to identify the vertex, the problem didn't ask for this. The vertex would be at, I take the opposite sign of this, which would be 8. And then I took the same sign as this, which would be that. And if I said what's the axis of symmetry equation, it'd be x equals 8. And a is 2. So, it would open up. Now, you were not asked to identify these, but you can easily do that when we're in vertex form.